Hello again, Adam here. We're going to go over the second league I've done since Probe's been banned. This is the same list, so let me click this button. See if I can... Yeah. So this is the list I'm running right now. Basically, Cathartic Reunion's taking the place of Probe. All my lands are the same. And in the sideboard I have 4 Thing in the Ice over the 3rd Shatterstorm and the 3 Empty the Warrens right now, which has been pretty okay. Less stellar in this one, but that's okay. So game 1, we win the die roll. I'm kind of embarrassed about these games because they were just pretty bad and I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention when I was playing. As you guys might see. Start off pretty standard. Put a Cathartic Reunion and a land on top of my library from turn 1, Serum Visions. They lean on Shambling Vent, so I'm thinking either Abzan, White-Black Death and Taxes, White-Black Eldrazi, Taxes, tokens, maybe. Probably not tokens, though. So I just go Ascension, they fetch, which tells me it's not Hate Bears, and then they play a Bob, which tells me it's Abzan. So here I Slight, and I get a Thought Scour, crack for another land, and just Cathartic Reunion, or I just Grape Shot, sorry, Cathartic Reunion is later, his Bob, because I don't want him to have the card advantage, and I'm already relatively low because I've fetched Shocked a whole bunch, and they play Goyfs, which he just play one. So I Thought Scour myself, and then I Cathartic Reunion, discarding both Past in Flames, drawing a Spirebluff Canal, which I play. He plays an Inquisition, taking the Ritual, which was really unfortunate. Plays a Goyf. So I'm dead on board to these Goyfs next turn, so I Thought Scour myself, because that'll give me a counter. I'll Thought Scour myself again. Basically my out is a Ritual. If I hit a Ritual, I can probably win this game. And instead I draw a Past in Flames, which means I am dead. So for sideboard, I take, I bring in 3 Blood Moons and 4 Thing in the Ice, because I have an experimental sideboard for this right now. I'm not super happy with it yet, but I haven't quite figured out exactly how I want to board. Empty the Warrens is generally better in this matchup, and Blood Moon is really good if they play a tiny bit greedy. It's a little bit better against Abzan most of the time, but with the newer builds of Abzan, especially with Fatal Push and Collective Brutality and all that stuff, they're more likely to be able to function off of a couple basics. And in order to bring those 7 cards in, I bring out 1 Grape Shot, 1 Past in Flames, because I don't really need the whole package if I'm going the Thing in the Ice route. And I bring out 4 Cathartic Reunions, which I don't really agree with now, because it's nice to be able to discard cards you don't need in order to just draw a whole bunch. But the thought is, you know, they play discard spells between Inquisition, Thoughtseize, and Collective Brutality. I might not have enough cards to actually be able to discard for Reunion. And then I bring out 1 Thought Scour just as the flex slot. So I get to play first again. I keep this hand because it's not amazing, but it's, you know, I can have an Active Ascension probably turn 3 if I get to resolve it. So I take the Serum Visions because I don't really need the Ravings. I just want to start cycling through my deck to get more engines, because he Inquisitions this one away. Here I fetch out a Steam Vents, or Mountain, sorry. Steam Vents is the next fetch. Red-blue, and then just cast this Thing in the Ice because it's an engine. Here he just plays a Bob, which I unfortunately don't have the answer to. I Serum Visions here. I keep both of those cards because that's a Past in Flames loop. I can potentially get a kill off there. I get just an island because I'm planning on Chat log lied to me. I get just an island because I'm planning on blood mooning him eventually. Here I just take the redundant thing. He flips Collective Brutality, so now we cannot actually block with our thing in the ice because he can kill it. He just pushes it, so it didn't actually matter. Plays a second Bob. Here I just play a thing. And I shock Ritual Blood Moon in order to take him off white mana, but it's not super useful. He flips over a land and a Collective Brutality, so he has two different Collective Brutalities. So if he plays a land, he probably can't cast both, which is the other reason for Blood Moon. Locking him into one play, which he just Collective Brutalities, gets rid of my Past in Flames. I draw Thought Scour. I get an Electromancer, which if this lives, I can kill him next turn just through flashing back Past in Flames. He reveals a Hierarch, decides to attack first. I don't block because he's low enough at this point that if I don't flip Thing, he can get low enough that when I do flip Thing, he'll die. He kills off my Electromancer with Collective Brutality, plays a Goyf, which is a problem, and I draw Thought Scour, so all I need to do is hit a spell again, kind of like last game, and I just brick on a land. So unfortunately I don't get there, so I just die. I feel pretty good about this matchup most of the time. It's more 50-50 than Jund. Jund's usually a pretty bad matchup. Abzan's usually pretty close. They do have Push now and Collective Brutality, which Collective Brutality helps a lot more than Push. And I mean, it might actually be better to go back to playing Empty the Warrens, because Thing was a great back and forth, but with Collective Brutality, it's just they get to either Brutality Thing, they can push Thing, where if you're pushing a token off of Empty the Warrens, it doesn't really feel that good. So that's match one. Kind of a sour note to start off on, but there's a few more interesting matches later on in this league. So I hope you stick around.